This is such a great question, don't you guys think? I mean, this really gets into it, and it also touches on the messages that we hear a lot from people in the art world. I know for years I have felt like I was really doing something wrong because I always gravitated toward variety. And like I paint landscapes and I also paint botanicals. Sometimes I do abstracts. And you always heard people say, well, if you want a serious art career, you've got to choose one and really invest in that. Well, that might be true on a certain track. Clearly, I'm not on that track. I can't be on that track. I've tried before, and my creativity just sort of goes just limp. And I've had to accept that for me, at least for me, this is how I work. And so if this is how I work, well, then it can't be wrong, right? We're all exactly how we are. So if you are inspired by variety, then I would say today, I would adopt that into your view of what your voice is going to be about, what your style is going to be about. Quit fighting it, because I totally understand that voice that says, ooh, follow this. And then the moment you do, you have another voice saying, can't you just stick with any one thing? How are you ever going to get anywhere? I have to assume that we all do. We all experience these conflicting voices that aren't really happy with anything we're doing. If we're doing this, we should be doing this. When we start doing this, well, then this voice pipes up again. You have to sort of take the bull by the horns. At least I'm just going to speak for what I've had to do. I've had to say, one, this is me. And two, I think the exploration part of an artist's job is really sold short. I think that exploration actually is, if you had to define being an artist, like if somebody said, define it with one word, that might be my first word that I come up with. Exploration. Whether you're a writer or a painter, it doesn't matter. You're exploring something. You're exploring ideas in some medium. And so if you really just quiet the voices around you or even inside your own head, doesn't that seem logical that we would be attracted to new things? I heard somebody talking the other day. It was on a podcast. I wish I could remember which one it was, but it was somebody totally talking on a different subject, but they said something so wonderful. She said, the soul usually speaks in one-word phrases or very short phrases. It may sound something like stop, or yes, or look here, or keep going. Those little tiny impulses, maybe when you say, that looks really interesting, it could be your specific, unique creativity saying, go here. You'll learn something here. When I look back at my path and I see where I am right now, I really do see that what I'm doing right now is a combination of every little turn and twist and diversion I've taken along the way. Everything is represented, everything. So I think sometimes, in addition to the voices we hear from the outside, the voices in our head are fueled by just this little anxiety or belief that we're doing it wrong, that we're somehow not doing what we meant to do. But really, if we are exploring and finding our own style, finding what we really want to convey, then that's what it looks like. It looks like wandering. It looks like discovery. It looks like finding what you like, sometimes by experiencing what you don't like. I think that this process is a balance. It's a balance about always looking for new things to sort of feed the idea machine and your creativity. But when you do land on something, really observe yourself enough that when you want to turn away and get interested in something else, is that truly your creativity saying, we need more information over here? Or is that when you get uncomfortable about pushing past something into something deeper, is that the voice that comes up to try to skirt around that discomfort instead of bravely just creating something that may not look so good in an effort to find something out? Is that the voice that comes up to try to just avoid that whole experience? That's, I think, the main takeaway is figure out which voice is talking to you, because they might sound similar, but if you observe them long enough and you also observe how you feel inside, you'll start to know the difference.